Good evening, cadets. Tonight, I, Captain Pelletier, will be cooking the main course and the mashed potatoes for the mess dinner meal, which is taking place on December 21st, 2020 via Zoom. Please be sure you've registered. Our main course tonight is parmesan sesame chicken with the best mashed potatoes and a little starter salad. So we'll begin, and I'll walk you through everything you need to do to make this wonderful meal. First thing you need to do is have yourself a sharp knife. Next, you're going to want to peel your potatoes. Handy peeler, russet potatoes. The recipe calls for 2 pounds. I'm only cooking for myself and my wife tonight, so I've cut the recipe down in half. So I've got a pound of potatoes, 3 potatoes. Always be careful when you're using sharp objects. If you need help with it, always do this with the supervision of an adult nearby if you're cooking for your parents. So my 3 potatoes are going to be quickly peeled here, and then we're going to be cutting them into cubes. The smaller your pieces, the faster they'll cook. And at the end of the video, I'll be posting the recipes so that you can have this recipe for yourself in the future. One of the main things you'll want to do is have your oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That way, the important thing when you're cooking is always have a preheated oven, and that way there your food is cooked properly, especially when it comes to meats. You do not want to have undercooked meat. Myself, I like to have a little bowl off to the side so I can put all my scraps in for composting later or disposal, depending on what your local family does. Composting obviously is the better choice. And always try to keep a clean kitchen. I've got my big pot there, so as I finish cutting my potatoes, they can easily just go right into the pot. That's roughly about the size that you want to cook your potatoes. About an inch cubes. Cut your potatoes in half first. Cut them in half again. And just cut like that. Don't worry if a little bit of the skin is still left on your potatoes, it's not the end of the world. It'll add some extra texture to your potatoes. Alright, so my potatoes are done, or at least cubed. This is what they look like. Now we're going to go put them on the stove. Actually, first we're going to put some water. We're going to put enough water to just cover them. So I'll show you that once we put it on the stove here. So as you can see, yeah, where is it? There we go. Potatoes are just covered. I like to cover them. And what we add next is a tablespoon of salt. This is for seasoning. You just want to get that in there. Put your ring on high and you can cover them to boil them. So there we go. And that's our potatoes. They're started now. Always, like I said, keep a clean work surface. My cutting board is now full of potatoes and my knife is full of potatoes. I'm going to be right back after washing my stuff. Alright, so our next step now is we're going to be working on the chicken for the main course. For this, I need a cup of breadcrumbs. I'm using Italian breadcrumbs. Quarter cup of Parmesan cheese, which I've already measured out. Quarter cup of sesame seeds, which I've already measured out. I need 1 egg. And I need chicken, which I have right here. So with my chicken, I've already taken it out of the freezer. It's a little wet. So what we want to do is we want to pat dry them out on some paper towels. That way they're not too goopy when you put your toppings on. It's very important after you handle raw meat that you wash your hands before you do anything else. There we go. It's just as simple as doing this, dropping it on your plate. I'm going to wash my hands before I do anything else. Okay. So I need a separate bowl now. So I've got my meat. I'm just going to put this on the plate here. Alright. So in this bowl, I'm going to be mixing my breadcrumbs, which I still need to measure out. This is a brand new thing just for tonight. So roughly 1 cup of breadcrumbs. There. There's my layer. Oops. I put in my Parmesan cheese. Sesame seeds. Using a spoon, I'm just going to stir this up. That way there, everything is just all nice and together. And then I need my egg in a separate bowl. And if you do get some egg on you, just make sure you wash your hands, because raw egg can lead to contamination. All right. And what you're going to want to do is just break the yolk. Mix this up. There you go. All right. And I need a shallow baking dish. So for my purposes, I'm just going to use this little square one here. It's going to be perfect for what I need. So first we want to dip the chicken in the egg. Both sides. Get it all nice and coated. Then you want to dip it into your breadcrumb mixture. Get it all coated. If you have to move stuff around over it, go right ahead. You want this to be very well coated. And next you want to put it into your dish. Do your second or third or fourth piece of chicken, same way. Alright, I hear my potatoes boiling. Now that my potatoes are boiling, I'm going to take the lid off, let them simmer for 20 minutes. That way, uncovered. All right. So as you can hear, my potatoes are boiling. Nicely boiling there. Perfect. Okay, so the next step. Here's what my chicken looks like in my dish. Nicely covered. So now this is now going to go into the oven for 20 to 30 minutes. so I can't use the rest of this mix. It's going in the garbage. The rest of my egg mixture goes into the sink. Okay, so we're going to start on the salad now. Salad. The little green salad. It's green lettuce of your choice. It can have nuts or seeds, or other vegetables if you want, and some Parmesan cheese. The lemon vinaigrette is some olive oil, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, some salt, and some black pepper. So for my green lettuce, I chose arugula. I'm also going to be adding a cucumber and some radishes to my recipe. That's how I would like it. So we're going to start by making the vinaigrette. For that, you need a 1/4 cup of olive oil, cup. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, or you can add more if you want it to taste better or more acidic. 2. I like these little ramekins so you can put your spoons in. Next, we need 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. And there it is. Don't have to be expensive, it can just be store brand. Oops. Yeah. Pinch of sea salt. For myself, I use this red Hawaiian sea salt. And pepper to taste. Now what you're going to want to do is whisk this really well to get everything all mixed together. One of the important things I'm going to teach you is taste as you go along. So for this, take a spoon and sample it. Needs a little bit more. That's better. So my vinaigrette is done now. Put this off to the side. And like I said, one of the important things is to always keep a clean work area. So if you don't need it, put it away. So next I'm going to start slicing my vegetable for my salad. Again, I need a sharp knife. You can see my cucumber browns are just going all over the place. That's okay. Just got to take another bowl out so I can put my cut vegetables in. If you stack your vegetable, it makes it really easy to cut them down the middle. Rotate them and cut down the middle again. So then you have bits and pieces of cucumber. Again, what you want to put in with your salad for the mess dinner is completely optional. There's some really good suggestions in the recipe. Quickly look at my timer. Still got 12 minutes on the potatoes, so they boil properly. My wife and I, we do like salads with our suppers, so it is nice to have a fresh one every once in a while. And your cuts don't have to be exactly perfect for this salad. It's just you're giving your salad some extra flavor. I just realized I forgot to throw in my garlic into my potatoes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. I have this, so I'm going to throw that in there right now as a last minute thing. Back there with its feathers. So cucumber radishes for what we're throwing into our recipe here. You just break them off here. Takes care of that. All right. For the radishes. And I'll name my junk. And for radishes, you want to cut them about the same size as what you had done for your cucumbers. Roughly that size. All right, that takes care of our radishes. So our next step now on our potatoes is we drain the water. And this is where having a strainer comes in very handy. So for me, whatever else water is in there, you can see some of that still on the bottom. Not a big deal. Always put something there so you don't burn your counter. Put that back in there. Alright. So now we start mashing our potatoes. I'm just going to change our camera here. Alright. So what's next in our potatoes? We need to mash them. So for that we need a potato masher. One potato masher. And let's just give them a quick mash so they're nice and gooey. Our next step is to add our milk, our sour cream, like I said, I'm having the recipe because it's for myself and my wife. There was some sour cream. Butter. 2 tablespoons of butter in my recipe. I lied, I used margarine, but it's whatever you have in your home. Some chives. Now, chives are kind of like an onion. Oh, come on. Yeah. Oh, and it's a brand new bottle for me. You can use fresh or you can get freeze-dried chives. It's up to you. It's to taste, so you can put whatever you want in there. And our last bit, some cheddar cheese. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm using pre-shredded stuff. And they're looking for 1.5 cups. So for me, it's roughly, for this recipe, I'm putting in about 2 big fistfuls of cheese. Salt and pepper to taste. And mix well. Now I'm going to let my potatoes sit for a little bit so they can set. Got about 5 minutes left on my chicken. Just gonna slide that out of the way. Start cleaning up my work area. With the meal, you'll have the vegetable of choice that we chose was California mix, which you can get in your frozen grocery aisle. Just follow the instructions on the package and you won't have any issues. Whenever you do buy salad from the store, whether it's pre-packaged or you cut it yourself, you always want to make sure you wash it ahead of time. That way there, if there are any contaminants on it, you won't have any more. Salad. I'm going to throw my cucumber in, my radishes. I'm going to add my dressing. Just pour that right over top. Myself, when I'm dealing with this part, I just like to put on a glove and hand mix it. You could use a spoon if you want. Just that way there the dressing gets over every little piece of lettuce and vegetable. And then when you get to plating, just as easy as one, sometimes just as easy as one, I'm adding some extra salad to my plate tonight because I don't have the California mix. So your proper proportion is a half a plate of vegetable. And there's my timer for my meat. Add another mitt, there we go. One of the important things to check when you're cooking chicken is that it is cooked all the way through. And for that, you can just do a small cut inside and check And this is still a little undercooked, so I'm going to put it back in the oven for another 10 or 15 minutes because it's still very raw inside. It's very pink. Alright, so now my chicken is done. I can see that because my juice is running clear. Put one on one plate, one on the other. Next, I'm going to put my mashed potatoes on my plates. Alright, let's mash potatoes. And the last little bit, add some Parmesan cheese to the top of your salad. Just as a topper. There you go. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of what your mess dinner supper is supposed to look like. With that, thanks for following along, and we'll see you on Monday. Have a good night.